Well, good morning to everyone. I'm gonna try to get back at it a little bit. It has been a whirlwind since I've gotten off the trail. God has blessed me more than I could say, with being able to be with my mom when she passed, the birth of the grandchild, and I've already been on the cruise, which was amazing, and I'm sure I'll tell you all about it if you care to put up with and hear about what's going on. But I'm in California right now. When I got off the Appalachian Trail, a buddy of mine from in Warner Robins, where I'm from, he had reached out and said, "Hey, we got a permit that's not going to be used out there in the Sierras, and so would you like to go?" And I was like, I looked at the calendar. I thought it'd work great. So this is my first time being in California. Not a great view here, but this is where I'm at. I'm in Fresno, California. We flew in yesterday. Going to be staying in a place closer to the trailhead tonight and then hit the trail tomorrow. It's called the Rae Lakes Loop. It's about a 40-mile hike. And, I've never seen it, this part of the country, so I'm looking forward to that. And from what I have read and heard about it, it's just one of the most beautiful areas there is. So anyway, I'll share some of that with you. And my intention is to get back on the AT in September. And we're going to see how far we get before we get cold out. But anyway, so I'm back at it, excited to be back at it, and hopefully bringing you some stuff that's interesting to you too. So I hope everybody's doing great. All right, so this is where we are staying tonight. This is an old roadside inn, Gina's Sierra Inn. All right, so we are in Kings Canyon National Park. And this is my first time seeing a sequoia. Now, these guys back here say this is a small sequoia. And I don't know if I can get where I can get hold on. Okay, I don't know if you really have any perspective. But this tree is freaking amazing. My God. As always, the pictures don't do it justice, but this is just, guys I'm with is Gary, and he used a great term. He says this is just magical, and I would certainly concur and agree with that. Jeez, look at this old stump here. Wow. Huh. So there's Gary coming down. Say what's up, Gary. So let me tell you the story about this tree here. This is called the Mark Twain stump. 1890s, they were harvesting, holy cow. They were harvesting these trees for lumber and shingles and whatnot. And they had the idea that they were going to cut this particular tree down, which was named after the author Mark Twain, to take a cross section and have it displayed in New York so people could see the enormity of these trees. I'm standing on the stump of this thing. And because of that helped with a push for preservation and to manage the trees instead of just clearing them out, which I personally think there's got to be a balance. But wow, you can't really tell. I wish I could give you some kind of perspective, but this has got to be easily 20 feet across. Okay, we have made it to the bottom of Kings Canyon. And so this is the Kings River. Look at these cliff walls. It's just remarkable. I'm like truly a kid in a candy store. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. All right, so we are at the location where you get the permits. One thing that's very different about this area that's so new to me is that it's very controlled on who goes and how many people go out there. And matter of fact, I'll turn you around. Kirk and Gary are having to dig out of their. We have to show that we have proper food canisters for, bears, and so we're going to get our permits and we'll come back here in the morning, and this is where we'll head from. All right, here's Gina's, where we're crashing. Everybody's calling their respective others.
It's funny because
3 beds.
oh, did you something new?
Microwave, television, fridge, little AC unit. Everything you need. Thank you, Gina. All right, so it is the morning of the hike. This is the Rae Lakes Loop trail. It's about a 40-mile hike. It's a loop, of course, like it says. So we'll start and end here. Really looking forward to it. We're doing the counterclockwise way. So we'll do like 2 days uphill to the pass. Out here in the West Coast, they call kind of like what a gap is. It's a pass. And so that's the highest point that we'll be on the hike, and then the last couple days will be all downhill. So should be exciting, and I'll take you along, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And I'll certainly share if there's anything interesting, which I'm sure there's going to be a bunch. So my first impression, literally the first mile, is everything is just so much bigger out here. Trees, the rock faces. It's just like when I look at these guys hiking in front of me, it just puts it in perspective. So it's just an amazingly beautiful place. But I'm just awestruck with every step. Yeah.
Local Roxy. That's terrible.
I'm really trying so hard to capture all this, but we were talking about how. Now, let me preface this with, this is no disrespect for Appalachian Trail, East Coast, West Coast. All of God's beauty is wonderful, but there's just, you can't look somewhere here and not be amazed. There is something interesting everywhere you look, at least to my eyes. And maybe it's just because it's so new to me, but anyway, it's awesome. Now, one thing that's different about out here is these creeks and rivers out in the East Coast. Most of them are spring fed, and I'm sure there's some springs over here, but this is also a lot of snow melt, and of course this is very late in the season, so we were talking about, we didn't know exactly how much of this was still snow melt, but these rivers in the spring and early summer are huge. So the water's down now, but when that snow is first melting, we're talking about it just really being a much more raging river. Oh, let's go check this out down here. So that's the bridge we just came on. And then look at this rock face with the sun starting to hit it. This is... So I'm learning so much being in a new part of the country, I feel truly like a little kid. But there are two means of force that create these canyons. It's either the rivers or the glaciers. And if you notice where we're looking right now, see how it's kind of smooth and kind of a U shape? Well, that is the glaciers that cut that. If you have a much more abrupt V shape, that would be formed by the rivers. And so they said there was a certain point on this canyon where the glacier ended, and there was a drastic difference from the U shape to the V shape. So I thought that was interesting. All right, so emergency in the wild here. We got a little baby cub stuck on the rock, and there's Mama over there. And I don't think there's nothing we can do. There goes Mama. The baby's been crying. Oh. That Mama is trying so hard to figure out how to get her baby. And the baby's just crying.
Fall in the water and then just grab onto the rock. I mean, how else could you have done that?
Okay, so the Mama has gotten down. The bear cub just kind of slipped off. But now you can see Mama is right above the baby. We kind of stepped up off trail because we thought we were spooking the Mama. We'll see how this unfolds. There's Mama right there. She's right there at her now. Come on, Mama. Every time she comes up there, she gets, I don't know if she realizes she can't reach her. It's heartbreaking. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick around. And I'm a little afraid that she still knows I'm here. So I may not know the end of this story. This is a great example of how these trees can deal with fires. And look how thick the bark is. So the real wood's in here, and that bark, look how thick that is. Now this is not a sequoia, this is some kind of pine tree, but they say the sequoias has up to 2 feet of bark. Bear right there just chilling out. there just hanging out with some pine cones. There he goes. All right, so we have finished up the hike for the day, went a little over 10 miles. I think we actually stopped a little bit shorter than we were planning. Man, them jokers had to wait on me. They were great, but I was whooped. It's been over 2 months since I've been on the trail, and those trail legs are long gone. But I took my time and made it, grinded it out. And so now I am doing something that I learned. Coach Horton and I realized that at the end of a day, putting your feet in the creek feels great. So check this out. So just chilling out here on the rock, cooling my feet. But this is what I want to share with you. And I almost get emotional because it's just, all right, are you ready? I mean, that's pretty awesome. Jeez. I got nothing. All right, so it's the end of the first day. I was in here editing the video and I realized I did not really tell you the outcome of the bear encounter with the cub on the rock. And unfortunately, I don't know. I was so afraid that I was spooking Mom from helping. And I don't think it was a life-threatening situation. I think even if the cub did fall off the rock into the water, there was a pool about 20 feet away. So, I mean, I think even if the cub falls, that they'd be fine. And it would be a good lesson learned, but I realized I needed to share that with you. So anyway, this is going to be the end. I thought I was going to make this all one video, but there's just so much stuff. So this is actually going to be the end of one video, and then I'll start another one tomorrow. So I hope everyone's doing awesome, and I hope you're not tired of me just being in awe the whole time, because I am.